Get ready for your spectator to believe they can read your mind. A self-working miracle you can perform with any shuffled deck. Simple, powerful, and guaranteed to impress. So, grab a deck, hit subscribe for more confidence-boosting tutorials, and let's uncover the impossible. Okay, so let's take a look at the effect itself, a mind-reading miracle. And we're going to start with a shuffled deck. So just hand the cards to a spectator. They can shuffle those as much as they like. They really are mixed. Now you want a first spectator to select a totally random number and card. And so to do that, you're going to look away so that you can't see anything. And you're just going to ask the spectator to cut a number of cards from the deck. Not too many cards, say up to 10, but it's a totally free choice. So let's say they cut the cards just about there. You're now going to ask them to silently count the number of cards they've cut in order to generate a number. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then to hide those cards out of sight so that you can't see them. Ask them to remember their number, so in this case the number 7, and you can now turn back around towards the cards. You're now going to show cards as you deal them individually to the table, and you're going to ask the first spectator to remember the card at the position corresponding to the number of cards they've cut from the deck. So in this case, obviously, that's the number 7. Make sure the spectator doesn't let you know when or where they see their card, and you're just going to deal cards like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in this case, this is going to be the card the spectator remembers, the 7th card, the Ace of Clubs. And you're just going to continue dealing cards. 8, 9, 10. And after you've dealt a few cards, you're just going to ask the spectator to confirm that they've seen and remembered one. And once they confirm that they have, you can just gather the cards back up. You can also just ask the spectator to return the cards that they cut back to the deck. At this point, you can just emphasize that the selected card is totally random. There's absolutely no way that you could know the selected number, the selected card, or the position of that card. It could be anywhere. However, you can explain that you're now going to try to find that card without even looking, with the cards behind your back, and you're going to try to move that card to a brand new position. So you're just going to place the deck behind your back, like so. And you're just going to try to find one single card, hopefully the spectator's card, and move that to a new position in the deck. And once you've done that, you can just bring the cards back out to the front, emphasizing that there is now one card in the deck, hopefully the selected card, which is now in a position that only you know. You can explain that you're now going to try to mentally transmit that position to a second spectator. So ask a second spectator just to try to tune into your thoughts and to see whether they can pick up on a number. And after a few seconds of doing that, just ask them to name a number, not too big, not too small. Say any number between 5 and 10. And let's say in this instance, they name the number 8. You're now going to count that many cards from the deck onto the table. So in this case, 8 cards. 2, 4, 6, 8. And you can just take the final card dealt, the top card here, and place it to the side. Recapping once again, the first spectator could have selected any card at any position, and the second spectator could have named any number. For the first time now, ask the spectator to name the selected card. Of course, in this instance, it was the Ace of Clubs. And now you can reveal that this card here, found with the mental powers of the second spectator, is indeed the Ace of Clubs. Okay, so let's take a look at the secret to this effect. Now, the spectator really can shuffle the cards as much as they like. It all adds to the impact. Now, as you look away, you're going to ask a first spectator to cut a small pack of cards from the top of the deck. Now, you want this to be 10 cards or less, so emphasize a small packet, but they really can cut the cards wherever they like. Then ask them to silently count how many cards they've cut. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To remember this number, and just place these cards to the side. You can now turn back around and take the deck. You're now going to count and deal cards to the table, asking the spectator to remember the card at the position corresponding to their number. You're now just going to deal and show cards individually as you count them to the table. So 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. This is the 8th card, so in this case the spectator will remember this card. So here we can see the 4 of hearts. And you're just going to continue counting and dealing until you get to 10. 9, 10. As you now ask the spectator whether they've seen and remembered a card, you're just casually going to deal 3 more cards. So you've now dealt a total of 13 cards to the table. You'll now just gather these cards up and place them on top of the cards you're holding. Ask the spectator now to add their pack that they cut to the top of the deck. As a result of the dealing, the spectator's selected card is now the 14th card from the top of the deck. And at this point, if you like, you could just perform some full shuffles and cuts of your choice to make it look as though things really are mixed. You now say you're going to place the deck behind your back to find and move the spectator's selected card. But here's what you actually do. With the cards behind your back, you simply just count 7 cards from the top of the deck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you're going to place these 7 cards onto the bottom of the deck. And with that done, you can now bring the cards back out to the front. As it stands, the spectator's selected card is now the 7th card from the top of the deck. You're now going to ask a second spectator to name any number in between 5 and 10. And because of the position of the selected card, you're always going to find it. So here I've just reversed the selected card, the 7th card from the top of the deck, to help you better keep track of it. So let's say the spectator chooses the number 6. In this scenario, you're just going to deal the top 6 cards to the bottom of the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll then just deal off the next card, which will be the selected card. Let's say the spectator chooses the number 7. This is perhaps the best scenario of all, because all you're going to do here is just deal 7 cards to the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the final card dealt will be the selected card. If the spectator chooses the number 8, then you're going to do as I did in a demonstration, you're going to deal pairs of cards to the table. So counting to 8, 2, 4, 6, 8. And the top card here will obviously be the selected card. And similarly, if the spectator chooses the number 9, you're going to deal groups of 3 cards to the table. So 3, 6, 9. And once again, you can just take the top card here as the selected card. So just make sure the spectator chooses a number in between 5 and 10, and you will always find the selected card. Obviously, in this case, the 4 of hearts. And there you have it. With every trick you learn, you're proving that confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. So keep on learning, and that confidence will grow stronger in magic and in life. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep the magic alive.